Here we go, baby. Ready?
We are back.
We're back. Another episode of the Marriage and Money Podcast.
And
who are you?
What do you mean, who am I?
Who are you?
Oh, you
Let
mean
people
because
know.
last time you introduced yourself as Egypt? Is that what you mean,
I don't know
sir?
what you're talking about.
Don't pull me in your shenanigans.
I'm Mike.
And I'm the better half.
Let me ask you something. How you
Yes.
feeling?
I'm having a great day, but I'm still a little worked up from this morning.
Okay. This morning. We're going to talk about that. But first, who makes this?
What, the jumper?
The outfit, the jumper you have on.
I don't know, baby. I got
Whoever makes that, I
Right.
need my wife to have every color in it because she could get it
flirting.
any day with this on right here. It's sexy. Y'all got to see what I'm talking
I'll
about.
make sure I get it in every color.
Anyway, this morning, so we're driving. I'm driving. She's in the passenger seat, 2 laptops out,
Going
phone
off.
going crazy. She is yelling at a particular bank because some of our accounts got frozen.
All of our accounts got frozen.
I say some of them because we're in several
The
different
banking
banks.
account.
This
No,
particular bank.
Well, at this bank, we have multiple accounts, and they froze all of them. And this
All
is
of
the
them.
third time this month it's happened. And it sent me into a frenzy. You know, like really, my blood pressure went through the roof because I know we are not the only ones hearing about all these banks failing.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have heard that as of recent. Banks are failing. People are struggling, getting their money out. This is a real problem in the country right now. We happen to be in Bali. And while in Bali, I was trying to conduct business,
Yeah.
moving money around, paying folks. And
Mm-hmm.
our accounts got frozen. Mike had to cover all of this stuff for our businesses. Now, let me tell you something. We pay our bills. What you're not going to see is Egypt and Mike in bankruptcy or any kind of scandal like that. So this was literally a banking security problem.
Yeah.
But it took me 2 hours to get them to release this lock on our accounts. So my blood pressure's up, and I think they should pay my medical bills for the
Safe to
month.
say, we got it unlocked, but it's a good thing and a bad thing. You know, they do it to protect you, but at the same time,
So much fraud.
They can freeze it at the wrong time. You know, put you in a bind. Needless to say, I had my AirPods on because she was going off on whoever's on the phone, and I felt sorry for them.
But let me say, I started the conversation by saying, ma'am, this is not meant for you. Please don't take it personal. My frustration is on a high. So this is not personal. So that was a good way to start it. Have you ever had to start a conversation with a customer service rep
That's
like
when you
that?
know it's going to go left.
But so here's what it caused us to think about, and this is something you may want to think about. Diversification, not just of your portfolio,
Yes.
not just of your real estate assets, diversification now of even what you have in the bank with multiple banks. Because as we're waking up in the morning and we see these headlines that certain banks are failing or people are having trouble even making appointments now to go into the bank. I had to sit there for 2.5 hours to see a banking rep. This is a problem because this is our money, right? We want to be able to access it. But what I recommend is now you diversify your accounts. So don't just have one bank that has all of your business accounts or your personal accounts. Maybe get 2 or 3 banks. That way, if, in case of an emergency, if something happens with one, we know that we can, until they work it out, use another bank.
Here's a third option. Do like Nana and them did. Put a whole bunch of money under your mattress, and you be good. This way you got that tangible liquid money right there.
You don't want to do that. never listen to him when it comes to
never
that.
listen to me?
Oh,
Huh?
We got guests. We go off on tangents, don't we? Wait a minute, baby.
Look, I
We
got about 15 jeans under
we
my
have
mattress right now. Don't play with me.
big-time, Super successful guests, by the way. Sanya and Aaron Ross.
Yeah.
But hold on, for those of you who don't know, or you don't really know like the full scope of just how amazing this couple is, maybe you just saw them on Real Housewives and you were like, oh, okay, so that's a new couple on Housewives. Baby, you don't know nothing
No,
because
ma'am.
the success starts with her being one of the most decorated female athletes in track and field history with 4 gold medals. and
4
1
them.
bronze.
4
okay?
them. Them ain't
Can
easy
we
to come
just-
by,
can I
okay?
read 1, 2, 3, 4 gold medals and
Yeah.
a bronze.
Okay.
You can't, you understand. You understand, okay? Then on top of that, she marries this incredibly successful, handsome NFL player. He's retired now and went and became an entrepreneur, owning a luxury car service that
Yeah.
you can find in Texas and in Atlanta.
But we not gonna leave off his 2 Super Bowl rings, okay?
Okay, not
Let's
one,
not
but 2
play.
Super
Let's not
Bowl
play. You
rings.
can't say gold medals and leave out the rings.
Right.
Okay? What you talking about?
I wonder if they just have like an act out night,
Uh-huh.
you know? You know, like they just put them all on. Just put the gold medals on, put the Super Bowl rings, and be like, "Come here, girl." Yo, what is up? Sanya and Aaron. Hey, we in the
What's
place
up, y'all?
to be. Welcome.
What's happening? Thanks for
All
having us.
coordinated and stuff.
That's what we do.
I just follow suit. Man.
I was gonna say because I'm looking at your picture over there. Y'all apparently have a theme color.
Yeah.
I know, we didn't realize it because we don't wear blue a lot.
Yeah.
But that's
Mainly
one of my
black.
favorite pictures. And today he was feeling blue, so I put on a blue dress.
I think it's an athlete thing. Y'all are used to uniforms and.
Must be.
Never thought about it that way, Egypt, but you might be onto something.
Wait, before we get into everything, let's just establish. We just found out y'all were our neighbors.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you play spades.
Yes.
And you were talking stuff over in that chair. Don't think I didn't hear you. You were
Man,
talking
you can't
stuff.
talk trash if your partner's Jamaican and barely knows how to.
You can't play spades.
I know I can play a little bit, but I didn't grow up playing spades. But I'm
But
very
you catch on
competitive,
fast. You
and I'm
catch
very
on fast.
competitive.
You
And you know, all we do is win,
So she'll
win,
be
win.
like, "Boy, what the button? Meanwhile, reneging like crazy. You're like, "Babe, that's too much card."
Well, she played dominoes. That's what it was.
Yeah, we play dominoes in
Dominoes.
Jamaica. Yep.
Yeah.
No, but I'm pretty decent at spades too. I'm just
Okay.
decent.
Well,
Look.
seriously, welcome to the show. We've been
Thank
looking
you.
forward to sitting
Thanks for
down
having
with
us.
you guys. You have
Yes.
such an amazing story and journey.
Thank you.
To be so young, they've been together 20 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
20
That's not even heard of nowadays. Look, some people get 6 months in. Oh, he getting on my nerves. We done.
I'm done.
We done.
How long y'all been together? Forever. Like, what's forever? 6 whole months.
Feels like it.
You guys met when you were a teenager?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I was 20. Yeah,
That's
I
why.
was 20.
That was why
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
pointing
yeah.
to
So,
her.
yeah, so
Yeah, I was
I was
20.
18, yeah.
You were
Yeah.
in college
We're
then.
both in college, yep.
Who hit on who? Like, give us the goods, the story.
Well, let me tell you the story either because, I always know what I want. So, actually, we were in the cafeteria at the University of Texas, and he walks in, and I'm like, damn, he fine. So, I called him over, and I was with my sister because my sister also went to the University of Texas with me.
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, what's your name? And so he tells me his name. And the funny part is, like, my ex-boyfriend who I had just broke up with was also Aaron. So I was like, oh, hell no. I'm like, nah, this ain't it. So then I just introduced myself, and then I just let him, walk off. And then like a week or two later, he gets my number, and then he takes me on our first date, and then we're kind of inseparable.
So
after
when
that.
she called you over, did you? I always like to, because you don't. Well, nowadays maybe you do, but when I was on the market, you didn't hear about women being the aggressors, right? Did you like that?
I definitely did, because I had peeped her a year before.
Oh.
She didn't
Okay.
know about it. She didn't know. So kind of to give you a little more context, I graduated like a year or two before, but had to deal with some school issues, and I set out for 2 years.
Okay.
But I had a scholarship still on the table to go to the University of Texas. So the year that I was sitting out, it's a big track meet at the University of Texas that everybody Texas Relays that
Okay.
everybody go to.
Okay.
So I go to Texas Relays. I'm sitting on the front row with my mom, and I see her walk by. So I'm like, ooh. I'm like, Ma. I was like, Ma.
You got your mom?
Yeah. My mom, my dog.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
my dog. Yeah, my mom, I said, hey, Ma, I'm getting her when I get back up here.
Yeah.
And Mama, she's a track star. So
Your mom was a track
she
star.
used to run
Okay.
track.
So she knew who she was?
No, we didn't
No?
know exactly who she was. I just knew I liked what I saw.
Right.
So mom was like, yes.
Yeah.
And just to backtrack, this is a year before she had
year
approached you.
before she
Okay.
had approached me. So when I
Wow,
got
look at
back
that.
to school, I started asking my teammates. I'm like, hey, bro, it's this girl that wore number 5, and I didn't know that it was her lane. I'm just thinking that's her number, like a football number. So I'm like, it's this girl that wore number 5 on the track team. Who is she? Is she with somebody? So they ended up telling me, man, she got a dude right now.
Yeah.
And this is earlier, maybe August, September. And I'm like, okay, I kind of fell back, and then
When it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
that's
Yeah.
when this happened.
But
So I was
20
like,
years,
okay,
okay.
cool.
And so we've been together for 18 years.
Yes.
And married for almost 13 years. Did
Correct.
you realize that this year?
Yeah.
So we can tell you it's not been an easy
Work.
Yeah.
It's work. Definitely.
Work.
Yeah, marriage in the dictionary should just say work.
Yeah.
Just say work.
Yeah.
So obviously there are highs and lows, ebbs and flows. What are some of the things that you guys have learned on your journey together, just about each other and about how to make this thing really work?
I would say that you got to make space for the fact that your partner is always evolving.
Yes.
And I think a lot of times people get married and they have this picture of what marriage should be and what that person is going to be, and they think that's a permanent thing. And what I think I've learned over the years with my husband is that the man I met when he was 20 is certainly not the man that he is today.
Oh, yeah.
And I think how we've been able to navigate that is that we communicate really well. And even more recently, we've kind of challenged ourselves to communicate even on a deeper level.
Yeah.
Like we want to love each other unconditionally. Like I want to hear the stuff that you don't tell nobody.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think that's been the thing that I've learned the most is that I got to give him space to grow as a man and as a father and as a human being. And if I make space for that and I continue to love and nurture him through that, then we, you know, like we're unstoppable. But I think a lot of people, when you get to that place, are like, that's not that, you wasn't that guy before.
You different.
Yep.
You different,
Yep.
you know? And then you're like, you give up on it. And the truth is like the best love is when you push through that. That's the real money love right
Yes.
there. Yeah.
Ooh, there's so much in that. And,
Yeah.
you know, through the evolution, through the growth,
Yeah.
it's about paying attention to it as well.
Yeah.
Because some people will hit you with the, oh, you've changed, and that, oh, this is just not the same.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to show you or take you along this journey.
Yes.
Because the problem in relationship is that some people, for instance, let's say you're God-fearing and you dig into the faith and you're going heavy into the Bible, whatever it may
Right.
be, but you never share that with your partner.
Yes.
They don't
you grow
know.
apart.
So
Yes.
you grow apart.
Exactly.
You got to share that growth and the experience that you're going through as well. So what's your
100%.
perspective?
Yeah.
I mean, she hit it right on the head. I think it's more than just communication, it's effective communication.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where through the first maybe 10 years of our 14, we felt like we were in our sports background, so we communicated very, very well.
Yeah.
But when we had a kid and then retired and all of that, she wasn't the same woman that I married. I wasn't the same man, and we thought we were still communicating and liking the same things that we used to like. I used to do things for her that she used to like, but now she don't really like that no more.
Right.
She used to do things
Y'all
where
still talking sports though?
We
Either
do.
Like,
yes, we
We
do.
do.
Oh my goodness.
We do.
I'm
Yes.
going to the, you're like, I don't understand. What I'm saying is I'm going to the supermarket, I'm going to be in aisle 3, I
Yeah.
want you to
Yes,
throw the
yes,
bread to me,
yes.
I'm going to catch it and
Yes.
run to the milk.
Last night,
And then when I get to the milk,
Last night he's
Yes.
in the shower making an analogy. We're talking, and he's in the shower and he's making an analogy. He's like, well, it's like when coach, and I'm like,
but you understood exactly where I was coming from after I said that.
literally Egypt last night. He's making an analogy about coaching me and cover 2, and I'm stepping. I'm like,
She
okay,
understood
man.
it.
But I got it.
when y'all fight though, do you like pull rank? Do y'all ever pull rank? Like, woman, don't you know I got 2 super rings? But don't
She
you
might
know,
think it.
like I am the most decorated woman.
Right.
I'm gonna pull it out
You
next
better
time.
recognize.
Yeah.
Next time.
You said coach. I like
Yeah.
that within relationships. Do you ever find, either one of you, do you ever find that you're trying to coach each other?
Ooh.
I feel like I do.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a natural coach. It's kind of who I am.
Yeah.
And what I had to kind of figure out, and I think this was part of our conversation last night, is she asked me something and she was stressed out, and I said, do you want the coach or do you just want to vent? Do you just want an ear? Because me, who I am by
That's
nature,
good.
I want to solve.
Yes.
I want you tell me the problem, I'm trying to solve it right away. Sometimes she don't need me to solve the issue. She just want me to listen.
Yep.
So I was like, let me know which one you want me to be right now.
Smart man.
to ask.
Smart man.
Yes.
Because sometimes we do, like,
Yeah.
I tell Mike at times when he's trying to be super positive, if I'm in a bad space, I'm like, I don't need your toxic positivity.
I'm like, toxic positivity.
What is that?
Go together.
What do you need? What do you need? I'm like,
Yeah.
I just want you to sit there and listen. Like sometimes you just want to get it off your chest,
Yeah.
get it out, work it out yourself, and
Yeah.
find your way back
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
True.
a positive space.
Yeah. No, I
tried to push
appreciate
that.
I appreciate that so much, and that's also the growth that we've had in our marriage, where he recognizes when it's time for him to coach or to give me advice, and when it is to listen. I think the other key gem in marriage too is, like, if you have the tendency to coach, you gotta know what kind of athlete you got.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Go there.
Because I think that sometimes, like, I know my nature is, like, if I'm, like, in the thick of it, I don't want to be criticized right now. Like, you know, like, give me a little time. You know? And then I receive it better. And so I think that's also a way of communicating effectively, is knowing who you're talking to, like, knowing what your partner responds to. It's like, my husband, if he's going through, he could take the beat down right now. That's how he is. He's like, I'm like, babe, that's not right. He could take that, you know? But I need a little bit of time. Like, if I did something that ain't so right, give me like 20 minutes. Give me like an hour.
Let me translate that for the non-athletes out there. Okay, so you're not an athlete. So let me speak the language we speak, right? So we're in the kitchen and we say, babe, do I look like, you know, like I'm like 10 pounds heavier? I know I need to lose weight. We don't need you to say, yeah, that's because you've been eating all them cakes.
Right.
That's not coaching. Okay, we're saying it, but we don't really want a response because we're going to eat the cake.
Listen,
Anyway,
fellas, you get
just
that
so you know.
question, just like, man, is it raining outside?
Right.
Like, 'cause, man, let me answer this phone call real quick.
Right.
The right answer is, babe, I love the thickness. You be caking.
Yeah.
Caking.
That's not what them jeans said.
There you go. Oh my gosh. So I know we're a fool, y'all. But so I love you as a couple. When we had the opportunity to bring you in, I was like, where do we start with them?
Yeah.
And to me, it just seems logical that you're both super successful in your own right. Both incredibly decorated. But there was a time, obviously, when you were becoming. Right? So you met when you were young and before everything really just kind of blew up in your lives. But when it did, how did you stay connected? Because you're over here, right, training, and you're over here training. How did you guys make that work?
It was a blessing in disguise, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Because we never got bored with one another.
Okay.
As soon as we were so happy to come back together, it was never any arguments. The small things really didn't matter.
Yeah.
So I think that the time apart actually helped us create a strong foundation of getting over the small things and really looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's like, what did Rick Ross say? You wasn't with me shooting in the gym. Like, I was with him in the gym. So it's like, there's a joy to seeing someone live their dream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, both of us were in college, and I was like, I'm gonna go to the Olympics, and he had this dream to go to NFL, and like, it actually happened.
That's so dope.
You know what I mean?
That's
And
so
so,
dope.
like-
Hold on, let's sit there for a minute. You in college, you both have this dream, you saying it to each other, and it happens.
Yeah.
That's so dope.
Yeah, so I think that was a beautiful thing and a beautiful time in our relationship. Like, I always say, we were like on a honeymoon phase for like 12 years.
A long
Because,
time.
you know, it's like everything was just so right in our lives. And like Ross mentioned too, it's like, I think the space helped us a lot. You know, like I'd be overseas competing and we're on the phone all the time, and it's like different time zones. So we're catching each other when we can. And when we see each other, it's like,
It's on.
it's on.
So wait, when he got his first Super Bowl ring, were you there? Were you able to be
there.
present?
I was there.
What was that like?
Oh my goodness. So first
She
of all,
beat everybody to the field.
so the funny thing is, the 3 games that my husband won, college when they won, when it was Texas versus USC,
Yeah.
and then the 2 times they beat the Patriots, I feel like they wanted to like give us like a heart attack. They win like in the last 10 seconds of the damn game.
I remember.
That, Mike?
Yep.
So what happens is you get this pass to go on the field, as you know, you get one pass, and you know he always picked the right one. So you get one pass to get somebody on the field, and so the Patriots already have their family down there because remember they're up, they're thinking they're gonna win.
Right.
Yeah.
So we win in like the last few seconds. Baby, wasn't nobody beating me to that. I was like sprinting. I was
You know,
like,
there's actually pictures all over the place where you're like right there.
I'm there. I'm like
Right
the
there.
first person on the field
I
because
turned around.
I'm like,
She put on them track
confetti
shoes.
still
Like, everybody,
coming down.
exactly. There you go.
yeah, I caught the confetti.
Yes.
But it was just like to what I was saying earlier. It's like a dream come true to like see my husband who had this dream and, you know, went on to live it. And I got to be there, and I was lucky because the way our seasons worked, I was able to be there for his Super Bowls.
Yeah.
He wasn't there for my first 2 Olympics.
But
then the third one,
that
he
was-
put in his contract. He said, look, I got to be at the
Gotta be
Olympics.
there.
Yes.
Wow.
I don't care what training camp, what's going on. I need 2 days to go watch my wife. And so he got to come to London.
Oh my God, were you crying?
Not crying, but I was definitely
Come on, you were
excited and
crying.
happy.
You were crying.
On the inside, on the inside, on the inside.
I married the bug.com.
Nah, because you see the blood, sweat, and tears
Yes.
that this person put into it. And then to come down to one final race or game, and then it's
Yeah.
a victory
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
nothing like
nothing
it.
like it, yeah.
And nobody really, they see the results, but they don't see the work that
Yeah.
the person is putting in.
You know, had I won the Penn relays that year, we might have been running against. I was really in the Penn. I've been dying to say that.
I've been dying.
I was in the Penn relays.
The Penn relays is a big deal.
It's a big
That's a
deal.
big deal. You should tell everybody about that.
I did.
I did. That's
I mean, I didn't win, but
Good teammates.
and then I got that injury.
Oh,
That's what
yeah.
happened. I got that injury.
Don't worry, she tell me all the time. I'm like, I beat you in this race. You know I used to be in the Penn relays, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Just remind you.
That's like the exclamation point. So then, okay, so you guys come to Atlanta. Why Atlanta?
So the real reason is, okay, so we were in Austin. After we both retired, Ross and I stayed in Austin because we just had great connections there. We both went to UT, it's great. But I also wanted to start doing more television stuff. And the opportunities in Austin are, very, very slim. Like there are a few things that you could do in television. And so I got this dope opportunity to come and host a show with Will Packer. And so started doing that right before COVID. And unfortunately, because of COVID, the show just didn't get a second season. And so we were actually going to go back to Austin because we love Austin and we still had our home there. And then the Real Housewives of Atlanta called. And they were like, we heard you in town. I was like, well, we heard you live here. I was like, I technically don't live here, but maybe I could. And then we started to just, weigh the pros and cons of going back to Austin or, developing a life here. And also for us, too, with our son, we have a young black boy son, and Austin is 6% black. And we just wanted more diversity for
4%.
him, and 4% now since we left.
You silly girl.
So Real Housewives of Atlanta called you. You'd never done reality television,
No,
right?
we did, actually.
You did?
Yeah, so we had our own family show on WeTV in 2013.
What was it called?
Glam and Gold.
Glam and Gold.
Wait, I do
okay.
remember that.
Yeah, so we had a
Holy
show
cow,
on
I remember
WeTV,
that.
Glam and Gold, and I really enjoyed it. Like, I love doing reality TV. It's a lot different when it's just your family, and family and friends.
Yeah.
But
well, let's get
Yeah,
into that. Something
sure.
you guys may not know is
Yeah.
a few years ago, Mike and I were slated to be on Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, let me explain.
Okay.
yes, please, just let me sip my tea now. Come on, come on, join us. We need life. Come on.
Yeah, this is back when Carlos King was still okay.
Yes.
So we did the interviews, we did the whole
Yeah.
thing. They were supposed to actually come and film with us
Yeah.
the next day, but something was like bothering me. I couldn't put my finger on it. It was bothering me. And mind you, I've been doing media, radio,
Yeah.
and television for
Forever,
years.
yeah.
But something just was not sitting right with my soul. I woke up in the middle of the night and I said, Mike, are we doing the right thing? And he's like, if you don't lay down, what? And I just said, babe, something's telling me that this might not be right for us. And he said, if it bothers you that much, call him and tell him, it's not for us.
Yeah.
So we did. We called him and told. Now, we did actually wonder if we'd made a mistake a few times because
Yeah.
obviously there's fame and there's opportunity
Yeah.
that comes with it. But I think we have to listen to our intuition,
Good.
and it's also not for everyone.
Everybody.
Right.
But what did you guys go through? Your process of
Yeah.
deciding?
Wait,
was the same thing.
before you answer that, though, what were you feeling about the whole process?
Yes.
So
Can I go first?
Why did you say?
Because-
Why did you say
You
before
sure you wanna
she
start with
answered?
Because
the question.
she brought it up. And she was extremely excited, but he was sitting here rocking his shoulders and going back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
They get into it. I want him to start though.
Yeah.
So I kind of went through the same exact thing. I felt a certain way when they first called, and I was like, nah, babe, I don't think this is for us. And we kind of did it. They flew out, and that day I felt a certain way, and I was like, nah, we're not doing it. So they had to fly back, and we canceled it. And of course, she was sad, and I was like, well, if it's meant to be, they'll call you back.
Yeah.
If it's supposed to happen, they'll call you back. And maybe a month went by, and they called her back. So I didn't really feel it in the beginning. And now that I'm on the show, The first season, I was a little reserved because...
We could tell.
Yeah, I was a little reserved.
First season, I was like, he don't really want to do this.
Yeah, I was a little protective and just feeling a certain way. But as the season went on, and especially this season, they're allowing me to be me.
Good.
That's the main
Which
thing
means you're going to check a mofo.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's on now. He is on. And y'all are going into your third season with
This
him.
is our second
This is
season
your second
now.
season?
Yeah,
I didn't
that will
realize
air.
that.
Yeah.
So knowing he felt that way,
Yeah.
how did you balance that?
Yeah. So, much like you, Egypt, I'm someone, so I always say yes to life. Like if something comes, I always say yes first and I try to figure it out as I go. And I always tell my husband, and my whole thing is if it flows, we do it. If it feels like it's not flowing, then we're not going to do it.
Okay.
And so if it comes easy, because I feel like God is always like, like God opens doors for us. If you got to kick it down, if you got to do too much, then it probably ain't your door. It's not your door. So I was excited about the opportunity because I felt like, I obviously know it comes with a lot, but I also feel like it's a great opportunity to be in front of a new audience, to show your businesses. Like a lot of other great things come from it. And I talked to a lot of women who I respected, who had been on the platform, who had seen the opportunity really, elevate a lot of the things that they were doing.
Yeah.
And so the first time they came, and actually they came one time before that, and it didn't work out. And because we didn't have our home here and all that kind of stuff. And then the second time they came, Ross and I were just not, like he was like, I don't know, baby. So they came and then we didn't film. And I was still cool. I was like, okay, whatever. Like, if it's meant to be. Of course, I was disappointed.
No, you wasn't cool.
I was disappointed.
Yeah, you wasn't cool.
I was disappointed for a day, and then I was like, okay, if it's meant to be, it will happen.
Yeah.
And then when they came back around the third time, it just really flowed.
Okay.
And we had a really good, they came to the house, they filmed with us, it went very well. And, a big part of it for me has always been I just want to be what I want to see on television. You know what I mean? Like
That's a great way to look at it.
like people complain about whatever. It's like, well, I want to bring what I want to see. I want to see Black excellence and Black love and all those things. And I think we belong in every space.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be excluded from any spaces. So I'm hoping to bring a lot of that to the Real Housewives. And I feel like this season was really, really.
You're
great
also
season for us.
bringing one of the only actual couples to.
That's why we need you. Come on, Egypt. Come on.
Well, so here's what I just took away from what you said, which
Yeah.
was an important lesson for everybody: is say yes to life.
Yes.
And you can figure it out.
Yeah.
Do it your way. Perhaps we could have looked at it that way, but knowing our path now with our show, Marriage and Real Estate, this is what it was.
This
like
was
you
meant
would
to
have
be,
never
yeah.
seen us doing renovations
Right.
and designs
That's true.
on Real Housewives.
Yep.
And truly, I feel like we're in our lane,
Yeah,
and
for
we'll
sure.
be able to,
Yes.
so things happen, and you got to listen to that voice on
Yeah.
the inside.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you guys are really rocking and making the best of this opportunity.
Yeah,
thank
You
you.
really are.
Yeah.
And listen, I know something happened recently. And there were those who sat on one side of the fence and those who sat on the other. Mike and I sat on the side of the fence where we were like, you better stand up for your wife. I know that's right. You better let them know that they are not going to do this to your wife. And so I want to talk about that moment.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, it seemed like Sanya was being attacked, in a scene. And all we saw was him say, okay, what we not going to do? When a man says, okay, what we not going to do? He means business, right? But were you talking to the women at the table?
No.
Who were you talking to?
Producers.
What happened?
We've never really talked about it publicly, so okay. This is what happened. This is what happened.
What had happened was.
What happened was, okay, so I was hosting the trip in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And a lot of things happen when you're the host of a trip. I would not recommend hosting a trip your first season.
Okay.
No,
Right? So when you come on Egypt, host your second season. Okay. So you gotta keep recruiting y'all on.
Gotcha.
Okay. So anyway, so a lot of things were happening, and one thing in particular happened that really wasn't on me. There was a lot of they were moving things around and having people film with different people. And I thought that everyone knew what was going on because I had set it up to go a certain way. It had changed. So it wasn't on me, basically is what I'm saying.
Right.
So when we get into start filming, whatever, it's like the girls were blaming me for it. And I'm looking like, nah, that's not cool. Like y'all know it wasn't on me. So what happened was Ross has always said, he's like, look, I'm good with the drama as long as the shit is real.
Right.
Like you
That's
can't
what I-
real life. You don't have to
with the
manufacture.
producers
Let's not
before we-
manufacture
Right.
it,
Got
know?
you.
So he was kind of feeling like, no, this is not cool. Like they're kind of coming at her for something she didn't do. So when he got up, he was talking to everybody, the producers, the chefs, everybody in earshot. Y'all not about to with my wife.
Because nobody else was speaking up for you.
Nobody was speaking up for
But
you.
I loved
But he
every
wasn't
bit of
talking
it.
to the ladies. And I hated that kind of people felt
Yeah.
that way. And it is what it is on the show.
It's the way they edited it. That's why I wanted to bring it up
Yeah.
because, like I said, there were those who sat on one side
Right.
thinking,
Yeah.
oh, how can he, scream
Right.
at the women like that? But to be honest with you, even if he was speaking to the ladies, there was something super attractive.
Baby. I
A man who
very
was
much
laying
turned
down
on.
the law. I mean, he didn't physically threaten anyone.
Right.
He didn't seem like he was going to attack anyone.
Uh-huh.
But I would expect that if I was at a table, man or woman,
Yeah.
and I was being attacked, that my husband would have something to say about
Yeah,
it.
for
Without
sure.
a doubt.
For sure.
Without a doubt. And you know what I hate is when, no matter what the show is when the man does speak up on behalf of his wife, they always in the comment section or somewhere, I'll stay out of women's
Right,
business. Stay
right,
out of
right, right.
Yeah,
No,
but y'all right.
This is my
not-
business.
Exactly.
This is my business.
Exactly.
And
Like,
when
you-
they're there, they're in the moment, they're present. So I'm like, how can they not have a reaction when they feel a certain kind of way? So, like we learned a lot from that situation. Like next time Ross
Next
would
time,
get
just
up
go
and
over to him. I'm not going to not
say
do
it once
it.
you're
I'm
in
just
there.
going to go over it this time.
But, yeah.
So there was something else, that we got from watching you guys on the season. It happens to a lot of couples. One wants to have another child, and the other, maybe not so much.
Right.
Yeah.
We had another couple here recently where she really wanted another kid, and he didn't, and he, they came to what they call an understanding. Then, you got to watch that episode, Dr. Tart. But on the show. We understood. I understood what you meant. You're like, but I feel like I'm just living my life,
Right.
and but you felt like, but if we're going to do it, the time is now.
Time.
So where do you guys stand with that? Have you decided one way or the other?
I'll let you answer that question, but I'll give you kind of some context to where it came from.
Okay.
I think what I wanted the most is both of us, we have siblings. And my best friend is my brother. Her best friend is her sister.
Okay.
And right now, as y'all know, we live with her sister who has 2 kids. So our son, he yearns for a sibling. I see it every day.
Yeah.
So as a father and a person that has a sibling that rock with me no matter what,
Yeah.
I wanted him to have that.
Right.
So I knew as the years go on and on, he's not really going to have a sibling if it's 7, 8 years down the line.
Right.
How
So
old is he now?
5.
5.
So that was more of why I really was pressed on it. And of course, selfishly, I would like to work on having a daughter because I feel like I'm always coaching my son to become a man. Of course, it doesn't take the love away,
Right.
but it's a different type of love
It is.
to where I can see where fathers and daughters have that just...
It's called manipulation. As
Nah,
a mother
that's-
of 3 girls, he's a girl dad.
It's
Only girl
a
dad.
whole different. It's
Different.
different. It's
Yeah,
way
so-
different.
They asked mom.
I would definitely like that.
Well, she didn't say what I wanted.
Yeah.
Daddy! Yeah.
And they get them every time.
See, that's my son with her.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so how'd you take that?
Yeah, the reality is, and it's been a tough situation for me as well, is that I just wanted to be honest with what my true capacity was as a woman, and it's like Ross and I, we always had this fairy tale dream of like what life would look like, and we'd have 2 or 3 kids and all these things. But the reality was when I had the one, I was like, oh my God.
That's what
my
real
God.
reality
He's a
is.
handful.
Right.
I was like,
Right.
I
He's a
can't do
handful.
more than this. I don't think I have the capacity
Yeah.
to give more than what I give to my husband and my son. And it also, too, to be very honest, I talked about the fairy tale marriage we had up until year 14. It was when we had our son. It really rocked our marriage.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't want it to impact our marriage.
Yes.
And I wanted to be honest with my capacity as a woman. But the truth was I wanted to get to a good place with my husband. So we had some real conversations about what it is that I felt I needed as a mom. My husband was an excellent father to my son, but I felt like sometimes there were needs that I had as a wife
Right.
and as a mom that I felt like we weren't able to always get on the same page with that.
Right.
And so we've talked about that really clearly. I feel like my son is at the age now where he is ready to be a big brother.
Okay.
And so I am very open. Baby number 2. We are working on it.
You know you're being recorded, right?
Yes.
Right.
We're working on it.
Shop is officially open. Over here, shop is officially open.
I want to stick on something though, because you said rock, right? Something that rocks you.
Yeah.
With a child coming into the picture, coming out of track and field, 2 Super Bowls, and then coming out of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Retirement. Yep. That's
okay. I understand that you got into a space of feeling like, is this it? I'm feeling depressed. Like, what else?
You went through a depression?
3 years.
Yeah.
How did you know you were in a
I
depression?
didn't until I came out.
Okay.
I didn't. My everybody all of my loved ones would say, AJ, my nickname is AJ. AJ, baby, what's wrong with you? I'm like, nothing. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm good. But in retrospect, when I look back at it, I couldn't watch. The first year, I couldn't watch no sports.
Okay.
Because it would remind me of it. The second year, I couldn't watch ESPN and football. And then the third year, I was able to watch ESPN, but I still wasn't able to watch football because it would remind me, like, I feel like I could still be out there, man. I wasn't done.
So you didn't retire by choice?
Not in football is age and injury.
Okay.
So I was 32, 34, somewhere around there, 30, 34.
Okay.
And then I had tore my Achilles.
Okay.
Wow.
There it is.
So I felt like I still had more in me. I was still healthy.
Of course.
The knowledge of the game had started to increase. Felt like I was kind of at my prime, mentally and physically. But it's a numbers game in the NFL.
Right. Was it your choice because of the injury, or was it the NFL's choice saying, listen, we don't even want to risk it?
That's basically what it is.
Yeah, it sounds that way. I can understand that. I had a moment in my life where I couldn't turn on the TV and like watch a certain thing because it reminded me, of what I felt was a personal failure of mine. But it's really not. It's just the process, right?
Yeah.
The process of life, things playing out as they should. And I think what we all have to recognize is there are going to be different seasons, right?
Yes.
There's going to be the season of harvest,
Yeah.
and then there's going to be a season of planting and sowing and plowing as well, and recognizing and honoring
what
those
season you're
seasons
in,
and the growth that we go through in it. So he's going through this depression for 3 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Did you notice it in him?
100%.
What changed?
So I think, so here's the thing. So a lot of people don't ever experience what it's like to give your life to something for the majority of your life, and then it goes away when you're in your 30s.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so retirement for athletes is very difficult. And so I gave him a lot of grace because I had witnessed a lot of my other friends who had retired from sports, who really struggled after sports. And I just kept, telling him, I'm like, if you were great in one thing, you could be great in something else. Like I just tried to, continue to support him and love on him. And the thing is, it wasn't like he was depressed, walking around moping every single day.
That's why I thought I wasn't depressed, because I started a company, had a child. I feel like I'm moving forward.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't like, it was just like an overall loss of some of his joy.
A divorce.
Yes.
Okay. But weren't you retiring almost simultaneously?
Yeah, I retired. So, and the crazy thing about it, you just talked about his experience, is that I retired by choice. And it's a big difference.
Yes, big difference.
Like I had 3 surgeries on my big toe. I had just won my 4th Olympic gold medal. And I was like, man, like if this year doesn't go well, if my toe still doesn't allow me to run at my best, I'm going to leave and start doing something else.
Leave on top.
Leave on top.
Yeah.
And then I started to, for that whole year, because of what my husband had gone through, I started to be very prayerful about my transition and thinking of what can I do after this and really preparing myself.
Yeah.
And I think that was the biggest difference for Ross and I, was that I prepared for a whole year for retirement. And my husband, it just kind of happened, where, it's subjective in the NFL. You have, a team has to want you. And so, when I transitioned out, my transition was a lot smoother than my husband's. And so I don't think I went through that low
preparation.
What do they do? Like, so athletes, do they prepare you guys at all? What?
No.
You said no. You didn't even know what I was going to ask you. You said no. They don't prepare you for anything.
No.
No. So where I was going,
Right.
I guess I was, because you hear so many athletes that when they're done with their career, they think the money's still gonna come in the way it was,
Right.
and then they're spending the same way they were, and wind up having nothing
Right.
left to their name. So they don't do anything to financially prepare
my
you guys
God.
for the next chapter.
No.
There's, I mean,
Nothing.
football at least a little bit better than track and field because they at least have a union and they have a
Yeah.
players
That's what helps us.
association. In our sport, we're solo dolo. Like you're figuring it out on your own. So no, there's definitely nobody there to prepare you for retirement, to prepare you for life after sports, for your finances. Like you're figuring all that out on your own, and that's why there is such a high percentage of athletes who go bankrupt after
Yeah.
sport
Right.
because they're the first millionaires in their family. They're the, then they're taking care of their entire families. Like this is a cycle that needs a lot of work, but it's largely in part because there is no support or resources to really help you.
Let's use this moment right now for someone listening at home
Yeah.
or watching this as a gold medalist, two-time Super Bowl champion. What would you tell your younger self to do to
Yes.
prepare for what is to
Well,
come?
I love his story,
That's a
how he
good
went
one.
and formed his own company, but we'll get to that. But
How
go
do you
ahead,
set? You're just getting in. I'm just getting
Yeah.
my basketball this. I'm just getting my track and field this. I'm just getting my football this.
While the checks
what
are
do I
coming,
need
while
to
the checks- What do we do?
now, just in case an injury happens?
I think I would say get with some type of financial planner for the money that you actually have, not the money that you're going to make,
Yes.
but the money that you actually have. Create a plan to where if something happens, I can live off of this 10 years, at least 10 years after the league.
Yeah.
That way I can figure things out. Give me a 10-year window to where I can figure something out as far as starting another company
Redefining.
or
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
it is. But putting my money in a way to where I only have this much money to spend each month
Yeah.
and kind of plan it out for a 10-year phase after retirement based on the money that you have in your account right now.
I would say put your life vest on first, sis. Like,
Life vest,
put it on.
and zip it up.
And zip it up. I think especially in our community, especially in the Black community, because I see a big difference in different cultures, where it's like when one person make it, we made it. You know, everybody
Yeah.
made it, and it's a beautiful sentiment. But the truth is that if you look at most families, if that one person makes it and they do for everybody else,
Yes.
who's going to be the lifeline for them when they no longer have that source of income? So I think put your life vest on first. Like Ross said, figure out how can you sustain your life for at least 10 to 15 years. And then after that, if there is excess, buy your mama the house, do all those things. But we do it backwards. We buy our moms the house, we buy the cars, all those
Yeah.
things. And then you
Take
look
care
and
of
it's-
everybody.
yeah, and then you look and it's like, 5-6 years later and that second contract doesn't come or
Right.
whatever, and you're back to square one. And most athletes don't have any other skill sets or experience outside of sports because you're taught to eat, sleep, and breathe sports.
Right.
So now you're like, okay, obviously those skills are transferable, but it's gonna take you a little time because you gotta start back from ground zero
Right.
to build that respect in that whatever field that is. So put your life vest on first, get with a financial planner, learn yourself. There's so many resources now where you can learn about investing and taxes, all those things.
Right.
And then once you're stable and secure, then start helping other people. I think that would be the biggest thing I would tell.
Those are two really
Yes.
great pieces of
Yes.
advice. In my real estate business, I represent a lot of athletes. I help them, invest in real estate, buy their first homes, buy their mama's homes, all of that.
Yep.
And the conversation that I often have, just whenever I can have it, is always live below your means. It's great
Yeah.
that
I
you
struggle
have
with
it, but let's act like you don't
Act like you
have it. Just because you can
That ain't
buy
my
a $2
ministry.
million house, you can easily live in a $750,000 house that's
Exactly.
beautiful, or $1 million house.
Exactly.
You don't have to spend.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You can do other things and make your money work for you. Whenever I
Right.
get the opportunity,
Right. Yes.
that's what I really tell them: live below your means.
We go to
Okay.
war about this topic.
Yeah.
Oh, back and
They'll
forth.
do what? What's the war?
So when it comes to this is marriage and money.
Yeah,
Uh-huh,
we're
go.
gonna be to
Yeah,
it.
We're gonna get to the money soon.
Let's go. We in the money now. we in it.
I'm so grateful for my husband because he's always been the one who is like planning for the future. And I'm kind of like, YOLO! Only live once,
Let me
baby!
get that pocketbook and that one and that one.
And so thank God
man.
for balance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
if it were just on me, we would be the statistic
Yes.
for sure.
Okay, fair.
Because I didn't learn, like my mom and dad, God bless them, they're amazing. but they just always made things work. Like my mom were always middle class and they always made good money. But if we're going to prom, I had a $500 dress. Like I always had whatever, you know, she never, it was never a budget. There was never like, oh no, it was like, oh, you need that now? And I didn't realize until I got older that I learned those same exact financial skills. Like I just make it work.
Yeah.
So if I get $100,000 check, baby, that $100,000 check is spunt. That's it. Spunt.
She done spun that already.
But you did say something very knowledgeable. You said, I get $500 and I make it work, right?
Yeah.
But we have it a little backwards. We make it work for something we want, but really we're supposed to make it work to make us more. You know, you take that money and it's like, how can I duplicate this and make this little check make me more money?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that's where, and I'm grateful for my husband because he was the one who was like, all right, making that 5-year plan with, you know, his money while I was out here just, you know, living the life of luxury.
You see that right there? That's the growth because you plan to retire, and he did not. So now the roles have changed. So where he's planning for the both of you to retire.
Exactly. And people talk about being equally yoked all the time. Yes, people talk about being equally yoked, and it's not that you're the same or you make the same money. It's those type of things.
Yes,
it's like what he brings to the table balances me, and I think that's one of the joys of us coming together.
You bring a lot to the table, baby.
Oh, so you baby, get it over. You better bring it over here.
Y'all know
we got a lot of this table. You better stop with it.
I like it.
Y'all are officially like one of my new favorite couples. I gotta tell you, Sanya, Richard Ross, Aaron Ross. So much to talk about. Real quick, the businesses. Let everybody know where to look for you, what they can find. Go ahead, Mommy Nation. And what's the name of the company?
Ross Elite Chauffeur Service is a luxury car service that started in Austin. We're now in Atlanta.
Hold on, let's stay with how many? What type of cars you got?
Everything from
Black
sedans
cars,
all the way up to
limos,
party buses.
Get off my
party buses, all the things.
It's on. It's on.
And recently, now in Atlanta, we just have like the sedan and the truck
the SUV.
Here. We're gonna keep expanding.
Got to get our clientele up before.
I
start to expand more.
Kim, hook him up with Ted's. Where you at, Kim? Hook him up with Ted's.
That's how you make the show work for you.
Yes.
Right?
So he has a chauffeur company. I have Mommy Nation, which is my blog and virtual community that specifically supports Black moms through their motherhood journey. We're going on 4 years now of building community and providing resources. We launched our nonprofit last year, raised over $100,000 to help hopeless moms. Phenomenal. So that's great. And then also I do stuff with Nike and NBC and all that fun stuff too. So follow me on social media, Sanya Richie Ross.
Yeah. Wait, don't skim over that. Say it. So follow you where?
On social media at Sanya Richie Ross.
Okay, where you at?
Ross Boy 31.
I'm not a big social media person.
Ross Boy 31.
I'm not a big social media person.
But wait, so let's stay there for a second. You're not a social media person, but you got a fleet of cars.
Yes, I
Get
need
them on
to
social media.
Yes.
She tell me all the time.
Yeah.
The
She
car
tell me
business
all
on
the time.
social media is heavy.
Yeah.
Get them on there.
So y'all would be our favorite if you knew how to play spades. So.
I'm working on that. Gotta get to the top spot.
All right, one to go on, one to grow on, babe.
One to go on, one to grow on. As you may know, as you tune in, I always pull it from the conversation. And what's feeding me right now is growth. Allow your partner to be able to grow. But as you're growing, don't be afraid to voice what you're growing through.
Not going through, but growing through. Growing through.
Yes.
So you can grow through together.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, really, the biggest thing that you guys really dove into the money, which I appreciate because, you know, sometimes folks, they forget the money part. But they'll be like, girl, stay out my pocket. But the wealth and the wisdom in that was, number one, about redefining, okay? And then number two, living below your means. I mean, and I stressed that earlier, but if you're, how old are you guys now, by the way?
I'm 40.
You're 40?
I'm 37.
37?
38. 30. Shit.
I'm 30. I turned 37. 38.
We just
I don't
turned
know.
38.
That's perfect because it's like right in the middle of our core audience,
Yeah.
you know, age. And a lot of people think, dag, I should have started in my 20s. Like, what have I been doing?
Yeah.
No, the right time to start is always right now.
Right
now.
Because you still have plenty of time to
Yes.
save for your retirement, stack stuff away. I think we should do, one of our next episodes should be specifically about like retirement and how you should do it. But
definitely,
it's never too late, but it starts with saving more than you spend. Okay?
Yep.
But on that note, we gotta have y'all back.
Yes,
we do.
Yes, we do.
And we're going to drive to the right place the first time.
45 minutes away.
I can tell her more about that time I ran into Penn Relays, y'all.
Oh my gosh. Listen, on that note, make sure you subscribe. Turn on your
subscribe,
notifications and tell a friend to tell a friend. And listen, we're getting ready to do season 3 of Married to Real Estate. You can catch it now on Discovery Plus.
Yeah.
We appreciate each and every
Marriage
one
and
of
Money
you.
podcast, y'all. Bye.